Hey kids, Flexing Teacher Weber here. I hope you're having a good day. We've been doing some more work with improper fractions and mixed numbers. The other day we actually built different improper fractions and mixed numbers with linking cubes. And today we started drawing some pictures of them. So what we did first today is we did a couple of examples where we started with an improper fraction. So this improper fraction is 9 over 4. It's an improper fraction because its numerator, 9, is larger than its denominator, 4. But what does that actually mean? Well, what the 4 means, the denominator means, is that we need to have shapes that are divided into 4 equal parts. And the 9 means we have to have 9 represented out of those 4. So this is what this means. If we want to represent this with rectangles or squares, we have to draw a rectangle or a square, divide it into 4 equal-sized parts, or the best we can draw, and we have to shade in 9 of them. Now, when I do this one, I've got 4 parts, and I've shaded in 4 of them. Well, I need to shade in 9 parts out of 4. So I need to draw another square, the same size as possible in 4 equal parts, and I'm going to shade in 4 of these. So I've got another 4 out of 4 shaded. But I need to have 9 out of 4 shaded. So I need to actually draw one more square, divided into equal parts of 4, but this time I only need to shade in 1 of them. Because now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 parts shaded. This part is 1 out of 4. And if I add those parts up, I get a total of 9 parts out of 4. Now we could also represent this as a mixed number. This whole shape is shaded, so it represents 1. This whole shape is shaded. It represents 1. And this shape represents 1 part out of 4. If you were to add up 1 plus 1 plus 1 out of 4, you would get 2 wholes and 1/4. That's a mixed number because it's a combination of a whole number and a fraction. Let's look at another one. Well, let's skip this one and let's do this one, 9 out of 8. Well, how would I do this one? Well, I have to have a shape or shapes that are divided into 8 parts, and I want to represent 9 of those 8 parts. So to represent that as a square or a rectangle, I would draw a rectangle. I would start off by dividing it into 4 equal-sized parts, or the best I can do, and then cut it like that to get 8 parts. And I need to have 9 parts shaded out of 8. If I do this, I have a shape that's divided into 8 parts, and I have shaded in 8 parts. And we also know that that is the same as 1 whole. Now I need to have 9 parts shaded, so I need to draw another rectangle. Cut it in half. And this time I only need to shade in 1 of them, because that's 1 out of 8, and together that's going to be 9 out of 8. I have a total of 8 plus 1, 9 parts shaded. So my improper fraction would be 9 parts out of 8. And if I want to represent this as a mixed number, well, this part here represents 1 out of 8. So together I have 1 whole plus 1 out of 8. That is 1 whole and 1/8. Now the other thing we did today is we started off with a mixed number and drew a mixed number using diagrams. So the mixed number has a whole number part and a fraction part. Well, the whole number on this one is 1. The fraction part is 5 over 6. Now the 5 over 6 tells us that we want to draw shapes that are divided into 6 equal parts. So I'm going to draw, I'll draw a better one. I'm going to draw a rectangle. And I'm going to draw it, cut it into thirds, and then cut it in half to get 6 parts. And I know that 1 whole is the same as 6 parts out of 6. So I'm going to shade in all 6 parts to represent 1 whole. That is 6 out of 6, or another way we might say that is 1 whole. Now I also need to represent the fraction part 5 out of 6. So I'm going to draw a rectangle. I'm going to cut it into thirds, cut it in half, and this time I'm going to shade in 5 out of 6. So that's going to be 5 out of 6. Now, if I want to represent this as an improper fraction, I have rectangles that are divided into 6 parts each, and I have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 parts represented for 11 out of 6. Or, if I want to think of it as a mixed number, I have 1 whole number part plus 5/6 of another part. So that's 1 whole and 5 out of 6. And they both mean exactly the same thing. Let's look at one more. Let's do a different one. Oh no, there's not a different one to do. Let's do 2 1/6. So this time, I have to represent 2 wholes. Now, I'm going to divide my shapes out of 6. This denominator on the fraction part tells me I'm going to make 6th. So for 2 wholes, I'll make a rectangle, make another rectangle. I'll cut them in thirds, then 6th, thirds, then 6th. And I've got since I want to represent whole numbers, I'm going to shade in the entire amount of each one. So I'll shade in 6 parts out of 6 on this one, and 6 parts out of 6 on this one. So this would be 6 parts represented out of 6. This would be 6 parts represented out of 6. Or another way of saying that is 1 whole and 1 whole. That's how we get our 2 wholes. Now I've also got this fraction part 1 out of 6 to represent. So I'll have to draw another rectangle. Cut it in thirds. Cut it in half. And shade 1 part out of 6. So that would be 1/6. So if I'm talking improper fraction, I have 6 out of 6 plus 6 out of 6 plus 1 out of 6, 6 plus 6 plus 1. So my shapes are divided into 6 parts each, and I have 13 represented for 13 out of 6. If I'm talking about the mixed number, I have 1 whole, 2 wholes, so that's 2 whole represented, and then of course the 1/6 part represented. And that's how I sketch diagrams of improper fractions and mixed numbers and hopefully make the relationship between them. Today, the kids have an assignment to work on. They have this paper where they have to take improper fractions and their picture and represent them as mixed numbers. And then they have to take mixed numbers and represent them as improper fractions. I hope that video helps. That's all for now. Flexing Teacher Weber, out.